Hi, I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel, Carry and Be Carried. I feel like I need to introduce myself a little bit more because this is the first video that I upload on this channel. I am from the Netherlands, and in the Netherlands I work as a baby wearing consultant, a lactation consultant, postpartum doula. I'm also a psychologist, and I do a lot of mindfulness lessons or meditation lessons. It all involves around pregnancy, laboring, giving birth, the postpartum period, and then parenthood in general. And I have a YouTube channel in Dutch. It's called In Liefde Gedragen. And because I noticed that I get a lot of attention also internationally, I started this new channel, Carry and Be Carried. So I want to upload on this channel videos about pregnancy, about postpartum, about parenthood, motherhood, meditations, as well as informative videos. And today I want to share about my birth, the birth of my third child. I've given birth to 3 children. My eldest is 7-year-old, and then my middle is 3.5-year-old, and he is 3.5 months old. And yeah, I want to share my story about my free birth and how it was my experience. I also vlogged my free birth. It's in Dutch, but I made English translations. I will put the link of the video down below in the description box. If you are interested, you can also watch me give birth. So that's something. So yeah, so I've been a mother for 7 years. 8 years ago I became pregnant. So I feel like I'm a mother for 8 years now, and I'm really enjoying it. But it also has its struggles. But maybe I will make another video about that. Today I want to share about my birthing experience of my youngest child and my son, my first son. He's over here with me in the wrap. I'm not really used to making videos in English, so sometimes I have to seek for words. So how did I come acquainted with free birth? I listened to the Freebirth Society podcast, and I also have I have a lot of friends who are very enthusiastic about giving birth and giving birth really naturally. So I have a lot of women who I can talk about that. And then I was listening to the stories, and then I was thinking, wow, it seemed like giving birth without a midwife involved seemed like an empowering experience to me, and it seemed like it was kind of top of the bill in trusting the process. I will explain a little bit more about how birth is organized here in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, home birth is really common. So if you're pregnant and you have nothing special going on, you don't have some kind of disease yourself or some kind of medical special thing going on, then you go see a midwife together with your partner, and then you have the choice if you want to give birth at home or if you want to give birth at a hospital with a midwife. So that's a choice you have, and it's very common to give birth at home. It's in our history, it's in our genes, in our DNA. Probably our grandmothers all gave birth at home, at least the huge majority. But nowadays the birth rate of home births is around 12, a little bit above 12%. So a little bit above 12% of the women in the Netherlands give birth at home. And I read somewhere recently that 25% has the intention. So yeah, I think it's a lot more common than in the most other developed Western countries. So that's cool. So I'm really used to having the option to give birth at home. So that's what I wanted to do when I was pregnant 8 years ago. It was no question. I wanted to give birth at home because it seemed for me the most safe environment, the most environment I could be the most relaxed, and the most feeling the most confident. And also I'm a little bit scared of hospitals, so I was thinking, if I go there, what will go wrong? So it felt like it was not the safe environment for me. I am all about empowering women and giving women the feeling that they have the control over their births. I'm all about promoting a good birth experience, both for the mother as for the baby, and of course also for the father, but in that order: mother, baby, father. And so it's not, you don't have to give birth at home for me, you don't have to have a free birth, don't do it for me, but you don't have to have a free birth. But I really, really, really wish every woman could have an empowering birth experience, to have the feeling that she has the lead, she can follow her body, she doesn't have to be guided by anyone. She can ask guidance, of course, there's nothing wrong with having guidance if you want to. But I felt if I went to a hospital, then somebody else would take over and they would force things on me I didn't want to. So I was always convinced that I wanted to have a home birth. So I had 2 home births with a midwife. Maybe I will tell my story about those births in another video, but today I will talk about my free birth. So I listened to the podcasts of Freebirth Society, and then I went into a Facebook group of unassisted birth and free birth, and I read a lot of stories there, and all those women were so proud and so empowered, and so they all just did it. And of course there were doubts, and they can be sometimes a little bit scared, but I really admired the women that were in there. So then I was interested and maybe fantasizing about how would it be if I would give birth all by myself, or maybe together with my partner or with my family or with some friends involved. And then I read a book of Heather Baker, Homebirth on Your Own Terms. I will link it also below in the description box where you can purchase the book. It's a really nice book. Also, if you don't want to have a free birth, but if you're just interested in birth, or if you just want to have a home birth, then that's a really nice book, because it's you really get educated about birth more. Because I thought in the 8 years that I have been a mother and have been interested in giving birth, that I would know really a lot about it, and I do, but I learned a lot of new stuff in that book, Homebirth on Your Own Terms. So then I wanted to have my free birth, but it was difficult because I was under the care of a midwife in my pregnancy, but I didn't go as often because I didn't think it was necessary. I didn't make any ultrasounds. Can make another video about that maybe sometime. Didn't have any ultrasounds, and I went for my first checkup when I was 28 weeks, and then let's say every month. So when I was 28 weeks, it's I think 5 months, or maybe 6. Let's say I went 6, 7, 8, and then 8.5 and 9 months, kind of. But mostly we talked about the birth. She felt my belly, the position, and we talked about my birth plans. And she could be a little bit, she could give me some feedback about my plans, giving birth. So in the weeks leading towards my delivery, I spoke a lot with my partner, because my partner was not really on board with the whole unassisted thing. He was like, we have this amazing midwife, and we do, she's really amazing. Why would we not want to have her involved? But for me it was different. I felt like if she was there, then I would give away some of my responsibility to her. And I wanted to have the full responsibility myself. So if something would happen, and I don't mean like an emergency, but just something happening, then I would look at her, and I wouldn't look at myself, or I wouldn't feel inside. I would be focused on her. But I want to be focused on me and on my baby and on my process going on. I didn't want any influence from outside to influence the process that I was going through. that we were going through together. So it was difficult, and we talked a lot about it, and we came up with a compromise. And the compromise was that the midwife would come, but she would go upstairs, and she would only come when we would call her if there was an emergency. Just because my partner really wanted to do the free birth, but he wanted to have someone there in case. And I think maybe this is. I can relate to that feeling. If you are a dad, you don't feel what your wife is feeling. You don't feel what she is going through, because I feel that it's okay. But he can also feel it's okay, but he can't feel it in his body. He can't check with what his body is doing because his body is not giving birth. So then I made a compromise, and now looking back, I think I shouldn't have done that. But I did, but I was hoping that the midwife would not make it, and so I still wanted my total unassisted birth. Because also having her in the house would make me feel, I would say, just come in. Yeah, didn't really feel right for me. So that's it. This is how we went in, and my partner is also very trusting nature kind of guy. So the labor started with my membranes rupturing a little bit in the middle of the night. It was 3:30 a.m. and it was really nice because the contractions didn't really start up yet, so we were kind of in excited, but still, okay, let's go back to sleep, let's try to rest because it's starting. It was 40 weeks and 4 days according to my own calculations. It was really nice feeling. But then the contractions were starting, but they weren't really going through. They weren't really building up. So I had a contraction. They were really good contractions. I really felt from the beginning on, this is it. I'm laboring. But they weren't really coming stronger, and that was the whole day. So sometimes I had contractions that were like 45 minutes, and then they were 5 minutes apart, but sometimes there was a half an hour nothing, and then there was 7 minutes nothing. So it was okay to me. I was really relaxed that day. I did a lot of work mentally in the weeks prior to the birth, but that day I was really relaxed and really calm, and this is what I hear a lot more often of other women who gave free birth. They have doubts sometimes and insecurities in the weeks before when it's coming closer, and then when the day is there, you just do it, and it feels amazing. Oh, I would wish for all women to have that feeling, the connection with your body, the connection with your family who's there, the connection with the baby. Oh, it's so nice. Different than I experienced the first 2 times, who were also great births. So the whole day, because he was born at 8:30 p.m., so kind of started like 3:30 a.m. And so the whole day I was on and off. I was making pancakes, I was making soup, and then I was laying down with the girls. I have 2 girls, so my 2 elder children are girls. I was lying down with them, we were watching a movie, and then I was taking a walk, then I was just lying in the bed meditating or resting or sleeping. And it was really nice. We were really very loving towards each other, and the children were so understanding, and they were really nice to me. And but so I was really in tune, and it felt really nice. But in my head I was wondering, why doesn't this go a step higher? So I was used to, and that's also what you read and hear all the time, so the contractions are not so long, not so intense and far apart, and then they become intenser, longer and closer together. But that didn't happen to me. Sometimes for an hour it became intenser and then it stopped again. while I was really relaxed still. So, and then I was thinking, wow, what might be going on? What might be causing this? And my second child, it was posterior. So and with her birth was also not really speeding up like the whole day. And my first birth was very fast. So I was expecting a fast birth again. So I was wondering, oh, maybe he's not really in an optimal position. So then I was feeling my belly, because I had learned all about that during my pregnancy. And I felt like, well, I think he's not posterior. I think he's lying correctly with his head. And at some point I was wondering, maybe he has his head at his hand with his head, and he came out like this. So I think he did have his hand here. Then I read in Heather's book that I could feel myself in my vagina. Then I could feel my cervix if it was open, and then I could maybe feel the head and the hand, and then I could push the hand back. So I tried, because I really like to try that out. Let's just see if I can solve things by myself. So I didn't make this video to encourage every woman to have a free birth. Free birthing is something I think you should be called to it, or you should feel in every cell of your body that this is what you want to do. Because of course there are risks involved in giving birth, or at least there can be. I think you should give birth wherever and with whomever present you feel like. And if the hospital feels okay with you, you are most relaxed there, go there, but stay in charge yourself. That's really important. Stay connected to your body and to your baby. Stay in charge. Yeah, so I was wondering what's going on. But I couldn't feel anything, and I was like, couldn't push anything back. But I think, I'm almost certain, that because he had his hand over here, the head wasn't pressing up in an optimal way on the cervix. That's why it took a while, and it's just our process, and I'm really grateful for it, because if it went very fast, I couldn't have that whole day just connecting, just meditating, being with my family. It was really a magical time, so I'm really grateful for it. It's wonderful the way it went. But sometimes I went a little bit insecure about why isn't this speeding up. So then I went for a walk in the dark. It was really nice because it was dark out. It was winter. He's born January 2nd, 2021. And it was dark outside, and there were Christmas lights all out. And I was walking, and then I met someone, or at least we crossed each other on the street, and we said hello. And I was thinking, oh, I'm giving birth, and he doesn't know it. It's so nice to have a kind of secret for yourself that way. But also I informed a lot of women in my circle that I was having contractions and that this was my birthing day. So there were a lot of women, like in their minds, they were busy with me. So that was really nice to feel that. I could also feel that. And when I went back from my walk, then I went to my bedroom, went to lay down, and that was a really nice hour. I've been in the bed, and we had a little Christmas tree there with lights on, and I had music, I had my Spotify playlist on, and I listened to music, but also there came other songs that were connected to my playlist but not in my playlist. So there were songs I didn't know, but they felt really nice, and they had really nice lyrics, and I was just lying there and having contractions, but then such a beautiful song came along, and it was such a beautiful lyrics that matched what I was going through. For one moment there was be brave my love, the time has come. I just started crying. It was so beautiful because it felt, and this maybe seems like some kind of paranormal experience, but it felt so spiritual. I felt so connected. And I was the whole day I was open. I was not at all scared. of course, you can be a little bit scared because your body is doing things that it hasn't done often. But every time contraction came, I was like, okay, let's go, let's come wash over me. It's okay, I can do this. I can handle this. This is okay. This will bring me closer to my baby. So I was really open, and I visualized that I was standing on the beach and that the waves were coming for me. The waves were coming at me, and I couldn't stop the waves, but I could influence the way I was handling the waves. So I was just standing there. Come, okay? Come. And when the contractions became very intense, I noticed that I wanted to run away from them, but I could notice it, and then I could transform it to no. Come, give it, it's okay, let's go. I can do this, I can handle this. So the mind, and this is one of my messages I want to give you from my heart, that your mind is everything. What you think, it has an influence on everything. And of course I know this because I am a mindfulness trainer and I'm a psychologist. So I have learned this in school and I know this in my daily life. But it was so obvious in my birth that the way I thought about the waves influenced the way I experienced them. And it was totally doable. This birth, it did hurt, but it was totally doable for me. Different than I can remember from the first two, because then I could be scared at the end towards transition, when you are almost fully dilated. Then the contractions to me can become very intense and also very scary because my body just takes over. And I think the other two times I experienced a little bit more that I was drowning, that I didn't know what's coming over me. And now I felt my tension to go towards the but then I transformed it immediately, like, no, it's okay, come, I can do this, I can handle this. And I made affirmation cards, little cards that has birth affirmations, and I had them above my birth pool in the living room because I wanted to give birth in the pool, and they have been there for a few weeks. So I read them all day. I could just see when I was doing my daily things, I could read them. And when the contractions were very intense, when I was laying in the bedroom, then I would just say them out loud. Some of my affirmations really helped me. It was really like when I was standing there and I had the feeling like, oh no, I don't want this, then it was like something I could grab onto, and then I could remember to open. So that was so amazing. That hour, the last hour before the pushing phase, we say in Dutch. So then my girls went to bed because we had no idea at that moment how long it would take. Still, it could be in half an hour, but it could also be hours. So we thought, well, let's bring them to bed. We have a big family bed, so we were at our family bed. And I was lying on one side having contractions, and they were at the other side, and my partner was reading a story to them. And then I had one amazing contraction, and I was like, we're not bringing you to bed because this is going fast now. So then the children were really excited because they had to go to bed, and then suddenly they didn't have to go to bed and they could watch a movie because I said they could watch a movie, and the baby was coming. So they were really excited. That was a really, really nice moment. So then we went downstairs, and the birth pool had been up since that morning and also filled with water. So the water had cooled down by 2 degrees. So my partner was going to get water from the neighbors because we don't have enough hot water for the birth pool ourselves. So he was outside, and at that moment I got this amazing urge to push. So I was standing at the table. I'm sitting now in our living room so I can point at the places that I was. So I was standing at the table, and I was still vlogging then. I had no idea that 15 minutes later our son was born. I had no idea then at that moment. So then I got an amazing urge to push, and I went on all fours, really instinctively. And then I had the fetal ejection reflex. I read about it online on the Facebook groups. I had never experienced it yet, but this was really amazing. Really, like my body was pushing him out. My body was doing it herself. I didn't have to help or push. It just happened. Like when you throw up or when you have like enormous diarrhea, your body just does that. You don't have to do anything for it. So it was really nice to experience that. And with my other two births, I had sometimes a little bit, I was scared at the end because I was scared of the pushing and the crowning and the letting go of my baby. But this time I felt so empowered. My partner was behind me with our then youngest child, our middle, of 3.5-year-old. And I was screaming when I got that amazing urge to push. I was like, what? Like really that kind of, in Dutch we say oerkreten, like that, kind of really strong, raw, which I didn't have control over. And so she was crying a lot, so we called grandma to come for her. And my partner also called the midwife when he was he wanted to go for the hot water. And he also called the midwife, and I was saying to him, well, it's not needed. I don't need you to call her, but he really wanted her. But when I got the amazing urge to push, I knew she wouldn't be on time because she has to drive for a while. And that felt so empowered because when I was pushing, I was like, yes, we are really doing this. We are doing this together. And my partner was looking back at it. He was really fine with it. He felt safe. He felt in control. He was not like, oh my God, we're doing this alone. At that moment, everything that needed to happen just happened. And he was totally relaxed and cool with it. You can see it in the video. He was amazing. And it was such an amazing experience to just give birth and have the ones you love the most present and only them. My youngest was giving comments about the little hairs on the head and that how it must be a boy because he has short hair. It's so funny. And it was really nice that I was giving birth. I was working my ass off, even though my body was doing it, but it was hard work. And then you hear your child give those comments. Hey! Moet je even wat laten horen van jezelf? Hé, mama is aan het vertellen over de geboorte, schat. Is oké. Is een prachtige geboorte geweest. Ja. Ja, prachtige geboorte. So it was so nice to not have anyone, that's like, that has more distance to you, guide you through it. And also because the midwife was not there, my partner really stepped up and really took charge and guided me. We really did it together. I felt really like doing that together more than when I had an assisted home birth. So it also made our connection much stronger. It really had a lot of influence on our relationship in a positive way. So yeah, it was really nice to hear their comments, and also hearing my partner being so relaxed, and he was encouraging me, and yeah, I just felt so empowered and so loved and so cheered or something. So carried. I felt so carried. In Dutch we say op handen gedragen, carried on hands, but it's kind of like a saying. I really felt supported. So then, and we were discussing, like, when the head was out, I was like, can you see a cord? The head needs to turn now. So we were in charge. We were doing it ourselves. And of course, the midwife could have been there, and she could have been in a chair, and she could have watched us. But I would have experienced it way different if she was there. I would ask her for advice. I would have. It would have made me more insecure, and I wouldn't have stepped up the way I did right now, and I wouldn't have felt so connected to myself and the people around me. So to me, it was such an amazing experience, and I think I will profit from this for a very long time, if not my whole life. And I think it was an amazing experience for us as well. My 7-year-old, she thought it was amazing. My partner thought it was amazing, but my 3.5-year-old, she was scared and she was crying. You can see it in the video. So to her, it was not as empowering, but I know she will be fine, and she needed this experience for herself to grow. So she will be fine. So here he is, our little Rohan, our little freebirth baby. And he's doing amazing. We had an amazing weeks after that. We had a lotus birth, so we left the placenta. We left connected to him. I can share about that in another video. I also made vlogs on my other channel, but those are all in Dutch, so I don't know. I don't think it's really interesting for you to, because you can't understand, of course, what I'm saying. So the midwife did come, like half an hour after he was born, and she was there when the placenta came, but she didn't really interfere or anything. She did look at my perineum, and I had a huge tear, which I decided not to have to get it stitched. But I will make another video about that. So I want to thank you for watching. If you like this video, and if you want to stay updated, and if you want to see other videos, please subscribe. I would really like that. And leave a comment. So this is it, carry and be carried.